A disaster strikes, will you be ready? Now, there's really many types of disasters that strikes at any given time in a person's life, but sometimes disasters happen on like a local scale, and sometimes they happen on a global scale. And it's hard to prepare. It really is hard to prepare for every type of disaster that could possibly happen. We know that we're told, good morning, Kim. We know we're told that we should have like a disaster preparedness kit ready, and just to have one. And it basically consists of like something you'd put on a camping trip. If you were go camping or you going on a trip, period, you pack your suitcases, the extra, change of clothing, your hygiene needs and stuff like that. See, you know how to prepare. You do. You know how to pack because you can pack for a trip. I don't like packing for a trip because it's stressful. It is. I do have, I've learned over the years that it's good to just have something already prepared, like, you know, everything in one location, especially like toothpaste, toothbrush, and stuff, and shampoo and things. That way you don't have to go putting it, you just grab that which you use when you go somewhere, like for a short trip. Good morning, everyone. Um, Libby, Montana, Thomas. You're listening to the message. Thank you for everything you've done. That's right, you are. We are all in it together. Hello, Applebrooks, honey. We are. And I haven't really thought about disaster that much at all. I haven't. I used to like prepared. I would even go to years after my husband had got out. Well, not years after he got out of the military. The one thing was going around, and I remember going up here to the place where they were having their emergency, not emergency, the preparedness meetings in case, this one thing came around, you needed to know what to look for and things like that. And you should prepare. That was a different area, but for a disaster and stuff, it's like when we lived in Hawaii, when the first, I don't know, some kind of war over there in the Middle East happened, they didn't know what would happen. And they told us to have plastic on hand and tape to tape up our windows when we lived on the Air Force Base. Tape up our windows in a case of a dirty bomb or something like that so nothing could get into the house. That was a different one. Of course, they supplied the materials. You go and get it and they supply it. But what do you do? How would I do it? If if a fire happens and you got your disaster preparedness in your house and your house catches on fire and you can't get it out in time, then it's gone. But then we're told you're supposed to have something in your car also, a winter emergency kit. I would do that whenever I had a full-time job and I'd have to travel in my car. I had a bug out bag in my vehicle, and I based it on the weather that we had. Like this weather right here, I made sure I had, whenever I'd go to work, I had good sturdy shoes or boots. I like combat boots. Bates Tactical Combat Boots because they had a zipper. They provided me excellent support, and they were lightweight. I would wear those to work, and then I made sure I had an extra blanket in my vehicle, flashlight, um, like maybe an MRE or something like that, and a backpack. I had a backpack. It was this one things were in my backpack, like extra food, some water, a flashlight, something to make a fire if I had to, some kind of emergency blanket, something like that, radio, first aid kit. That way, if I had to walk, I could walk. It'd be a while. It would take me probably all day long to walk, but I could do it. And I would do that, I would. if I went out, and I was telling my daughter the other day, I don't have a bug out bag in my cars because I cleaned them all out. I said I should throw a blanket in each vehicle because you never know if you go somewhere and there's an accident on the road and it's really cold and you're stuck in that traffic and you're gonna freeze if you run out of gas and stuff. Good morning, everyone. Um, it is Edwin. It's Edwin the Crow. It is very, what was the word you use? Essential. It is. It's essential. Reverend Melissa. The way when is let love rule the minute we get into that mindset is the day that humanity experiences total freedom. Mad Max will never be because our hearts are full of love. I've never watched Mad Max. I know who you're talking about. Mad Max and the Thunder. I don't know. I think it was, who was that lady who played that? I've heard about it and I thought, oh my gosh, well, I wasn't allowed to watch stuff like that anyhow. Um, I wouldn't want to live in a society like that. But I'm not going to choose not to focus on preparedness. I'm not, because that wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't. It's like for winter. I start preparing for winter in the summertime with firewood. I do. I prepare. I don't know whether or not we're going to have a cold winter or not, but I want to be able to make sure we have what we need. So I do that in the summertime, and I have lots of wood delivered, and in the heat, and it's a big task when you're out there stacking wood and it's like 90 degrees and you're thinking, oh my gosh, it is so hot, I can't do it, but I do it. Why? Because when winter comes like this, I want to make sure we have what we need. And I think there's a Proverbs about a woman, talks about what type of woman, the Proverbs, whatever woman, who prepares. And yeah, it's a wonderful thing to go by if you all haven't looked into that area, but I'm sure a lot of you all know, because the woman prepares. She looks ahead in her family, that her family is taken care of. But yeah, you all, preparedness. I would, while I had the money to get it and while it was available, because the guy I bought the wood from said you might want to get your wood now because the price is going to go up. And it has went up. So I'm glad I got it back in the summertime. So there's nothing wrong with preparing, not at all, because I'm going to use it, and we do use it. 2020, a lot of people were giving away free wood, but this year, oh wow, free wood. That's true. I used to see that sometimes on the marketplace. People would say free wood. They'd cut a tree down, and you come and pick it up. And if I was a person during that time and I had not got my firewood, I would be getting it. I would, because it was free if I could get to it. Manitoba. Oh, Manitoba, Canada. It gets to, oh my gosh, minus 45 degrees Celsius. You got to make sure your house is well insulated. And you know how to survive in the cold, obviously, or you wouldn't live there. Yeah, it's okay to have a preparedness mindset, as long as it does not totally rule over your being. Okay, it doesn't rule over my being. It doesn't. I still have a life, and the most important part is my spiritual part on the inside of here. And because I can, and because you can remain at peace in the inside of here, grounded and centered in your love right here, you're able to face whatever comes your way. You're given the wisdom, the knowledge, the strength to do it. And you can look ahead of time. Okay, I'm going to need that. I'm going to start preparing, because you can look ahead. You want to prepare, you really do, but you don't want to go overboard to where it totally consumes you and it literally turns you into somebody that you don't want to be. And you're no longer the person you used to be. You're just a shell of that individual. Yeah. So when a disaster strikes you, I'm getting a hot flash. Even though it's kind of hot out here, cold out here, I am kind of getting a hot flash. Try to get this off of me just for a moment in time, because that's okay, you all. There, I feel free. Feel free from that jacket. Can move my arms and stuff. I love it. I do. You started a garden this year for the first time, Rebecca, and learned. Ah, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. A reset from hell happening 7:29 a.m. Isha Mosa, what's that mean? A reset from hell happening at a 7:29 a.m. Yeah. Um, Hello, Susan B. Honey. I didn't see you sneak in here. Well, you didn't. You just hopped right on in. Isn't that cool, you all? I really do think it's wonderful that we can connect like this all over the world. I really do. And I mean it. I love it. Um, it makes us, realize we're not alone in each day that we face. That's right. Food prices are going up in Dallas. Okay, I already read the Manitoba. Manitoba, that's right. Pembroke, Ontario, Rebecca, honey. Hello there, Betty. Well, I don't know if mine was a hot flash. I don't get them like I used to. When I had the breast cancer and I had to take the chemo, I didn't have to take it. It was the B39 study. And they got all the cancer. He wanted to do chemo. He wanted to do radiation. And when I took that chemo, it was the European blend. It did more damage to my body than if I had not taken it, because they got the cancer all out. But he went ahead and did it just so I could be in their B39 study. Just think, they had a study in place for all the women who, at the age of 39, was diagnosed with breast cancer in the left breast. Imagine that. A study for women at the age of 39. And they wanted to experiment with what types of chemo, what types of radiation, and what types of combination for the treatments. Yeah, they did. And they followed up. It was 3 rounds of the European blend, and it had like a red dye or something in it. And I would sit there, my mother would go with me, and I'd sit there with that drip going in my arm for around an hour and a half. And it was a very cold sensation running through your veins. Thank God I did not get nauseous and sick like a lot of people who, had it. But my hair did fall out, and I prepared. You all, let me just tell you, my spirit prepared way ahead of time, because I knew something was coming in my life. Before I was even diagnosed with anything, I could feel it. You can feel it. An enormous change that comes into your life, you can feel it coming. And I felt something coming. And yeah, I did. And I went to the doctor. Oh, there's nothing there, honey. I've been doing this for 17 years, a radiologist. There's nothing there. Okay. And they even sent me the thing in the mail saying, there's nothing there. And that was like the radiologist and even the doctor itself. But one day I went in, I thought I'm going to go back in because I still felt a lump there. It didn't move, and I saw a nurse practitioner. And immediately, honey, you got to get that biopsied. And she did. She sent me over to the surgeon, and he tried 3 needles. He got some liquid out of something, like one thing, but one area, that's when he changed 3 needles. And if you ever had a cyst on your chest, if you're a man, that's okay. I'm talking about my personal journey. They take that in there, and the fluid that comes out is like a, this is really strange. It's like a brownish liquid. It is. I had one that I guess moved. I didn't know I had one of those, but I did. But the other one, 3 different needles, and the nurse was in there with him. And when he took the biggest needle and he couldn't get it out, he walked out of the room. He said, "Me and you going to meet again." And the nurse stayed in the room. And I, got dressed, and I went out there, and he told them to give him the x-rays, and he put them up. He asked me how old I was. He said, "You're too young for this. Do you got a family? Do you got children?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're too young for this." And I had an appointment. He did it, and it was like stage 2. Invasive ductal carcinoma is what it was, stage 2. And my husband and my mother was in the waiting room. When he told my husband that, you would have thought his world ended. His world ended. His wife was diagnosed with cancer, stage 2, and it was invasive ductal carcinoma, and his world ended. He was my battle. He was having to deal with my husband and going through everything that I went through. He was my main struggle. I had the cancer. I had it. Why? Because God had me. But it was my husband could not deal with it. He already had me dead. Had me dead. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm young. Be 39-year-old Gina. He had me dead. And he changed. He couldn't deal with it. But as you can see, I'm not dead. I'm not dead. Here we are. That was in '05. Here we are this many years later. I'm not dead, and he has realized it now. Gina, honey, is not dead. She did not die. They got it all out. I survived. I grew stronger. Yes, I grew stronger, you all. I promise you, God is my witness. That was my battle, my husband. Oh my gosh. And I bet a lot of women can do this because, you would think that it was him. But I survived. I survived to come on here on this YouTube and do some searching of UFOs and share what's out there, you all. I had a mission to do. It wasn't my time to go, so I didn't go nowhere. So there is hope for you all. There is. But anyway, that chemo. And then they wanted to give me the tamoxifen afterward, and I took it for 3 months. My hair had finally started growing back from the chemo. I'm talking about preparedness. I prepared myself spiritually on the inside to face this enormous battle that I faced. And when my hair started growing back and my eyebrows started growing back, I was so happy. I've shared the picture on the YouTube in the community section of what I looked like when all my hair fell out, my eyebrows and stuff. It breaks my sister's heart when she sees that picture, because that's me. Everything that I was literally stripped from me, taken from me, every single thing. Yeah, it's hard to think about it. If you think about it from way back then, if you're a woman and you've been through that, you know what it's like to, have been diagnosed, have all your hair fall out and stuff like that. But I'm here. And what I was going to say, they wanted to give me the tamoxifen, and I took it for around 3.5 months or so, and it literally numbed all of my emotions. I was no longer able to feel what it was like to be human. It desensitized me to everything. My hair got thinner. What hair I had grown back. And I gained weight. And I remember going to the doctor asking about it. I said, "This is making me gain weight. This is making me be non-emotional. This is causing my hair to get thinner." Even told the surgeon, they both dismissed it. Then I went back to the cancer doctor one more time. And I said, "Why am I taking this tamoxifen? If there's no more cancer in my body, how can it come back?" "Oh, it can't." I said, "Then I'm not taking it." And there was another instance when I met with him. I said, "What do you do with all that blood samples that you get from people? Do you do a study and see who are genetically whatever with the DNA to see stuff? He looked at me. He said, "You don't know what you're talking about." That's what he told me. That was the last time I ever stepped foot in that thing. I quit taking that tamoxifen. I began to feel who I am on the inside. And my hair, you know, it didn't fall out no more up there. And I started to lose weight. And yeah, you all, come on. So that's my one journey for that. That's right, you all. My one journey. I'm gonna have to put you down for a second. I gotta put my jacket back on because now my arms are trying to get cold. Is what they're trying to do. But I can put my jacket back on. Yeah. So if it's not your time to go on this earth, no matter what comes your way, you're not going nowhere until you finish whatever you came here to do. You're not going nowhere. You're not. And everything that you've been through will help make you be that person you need to be to do whatever you've got to do. It will build you up, and hopefully it will build you up and it will not break you. That's the thing. Yeah. T, honey, you was referred to a cancer specialist last year and you won't go. Something was noticed, but I'm convinced they'll kill you altogether. Yeah. If I had to do it over again, I would not have took that chemo. I would not have. But it happened for a reason. I went through it, and I'm glad I did. I did, because it helped mold me into who I am today. But that's me. I cannot give nobody else any advice as to what they would do. They got to just think for themselves and, you know, ask around you all. Ask around with people who's been there, done that. Yeah. Wow, Michelle, honey, 15 major surgeries. Wow. It is. There's a lot of business in it. And I had a lot of surgeries from it. This is you're looking at $1 million body right here, you all. Oh my goodness, $1 million worth of medical bills, over $1 million. It's like, wow, that's all right. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, T, honey. Yeah, you're welcome. I don't know how I got on that. Preparedness. Yeah, are you prepared for a disaster? Well, I had a major life disaster. If you're just tuning in, Gina, how does that relate to your topic? Will you be prepared when a disaster strikes? Because it was a disaster. It was a major life disaster that entered my life, and I had 2 small children. I did, and a husband who lost it. But we are all better now, a lot better. The children have grown. We made it. We survived as a family, you all. We did. That's right. So it's okay. Let me flip this around. It's all right, you all. You can do it. It's good to prepare. It's so good to prepare. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, you want to have a bug out bag in your car if it's like really cold where you're at, and some way to keep warm. Oh, something else, you know, if you live in these areas, you might want to have hand warmers, although those are expensive. I wonder if you could make your own hand warmers and stuff like that. Yeah. Lloyd, please prepare while you can, you all. We are running out of time. Vonda, honey, that's God had me and saw me through. That's right. I would be telling a lie if I did not give him the credit. I would. He saw me through at my lowest point in my life, and I made it. I'm still making it, okay? I am guided, just like a lot of you, by a higher power. That's right. There is a higher power, even though the lower power doesn't like to acknowledge it. That's okay. There's a higher power. That's right. Manitoba. You would be surprised. Most people don't have wood stoves. Oh my gosh, freeze-dried fruit if you could find them, you all. Yeah, you're so welcome. Yeah. We got to be prepared. We really do. Like, it's cold right now. I've got this. I got this a long time ago, years ago. And it's my favorite, but I haven't found anything like this anymore. And I see I've wore the knees out on these. I wear them when it's cold out. This is my cold weather attire. Somebody said, Gina, well, you going hunting? And they put in a laughing face and said, no, this is my cold weather attire. I've got a jacket to match it, but it's not this jacket. So yeah, I like to wear this, and that's what a lot of people wear when they're out here in the country. Because why? Because it's warm. It's warm. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's warm. I don't want to freeze. 7 grandparents. Wow. T. We're facing our mortality. Yes, Hunter Moon. That's right. Yeah, I like it too. I can't find another brand like it. It's a she tree. Where does it say it? She. It's I don't know if it's a small or a medium, but I've been looking. If I go into a store that sells them, I can't find this brand anymore, this particular style. It's okay. Do what you can with what you have, and trust yourself and believe in the Lord, and He will help you through. Naruka, thank you. Yeah, you got to help yourself. Don't sit around and do nothing. That's like if you have someone coming over to help you and you know you got a project to get done and you just sit there and you wait for them to get there before you even start doing it. That's not nice, because now they got even more work to do because you sat there the whole entire time, even though you could have been started doing it. Yeah, you got to help yourself. You got to do for yourself, you all. You do. Try to find overalls on Google, Gina. Oh, well, I don't want to buy any from the store or whatever. I've got, other than this, I've got things other than this too, but this is my favorite outfit to wear. I've got other coveralls. I just don't wear them. If it got really cold, I'd wear them, because some of them are really cold weather with feather down. And of course, I got some, mechanics overalls too, but that's okay, you all. We can do it. You need your own TV channel, Gina. You watching the YouTube channel every day. James, that's right, you all. Well, yesterday on my Facebook, I didn't log on there, and last night I saw your content has went again to go forward. And the only box they had was accept it. Accept that you went against community standards. And here I changed it to a public figure. They would not let me do anything. So I didn't do anything other than I went on the Facebook and I said, I have something to say. I will severely limit my posts on the Facebook because someone flagged my account. And let me tell you which one they flagged. They flagged the video when I said someone fired a weapon at the sun. They said it went against community standards, and they flagged it. They did not give me the option to reply. No, nowhere on my account at all. So I said, forget it. I did. Somebody got mad at me. Okay, they did, because they fired a weapon at the sun and then show the face. He's angry. He's angry. And then I guess since I read that comment here on the YouTube, somebody told me I need to get off my fat ASS and quit telling lies and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, I got somebody wound up. It's stupid. It really is. And I don't like that word, but that is stupid. That's right. Yeah, that's okay. Michael. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. You become family. Isn't that great that we can become family from miles and miles away? Yeah, I got to put this down for a moment. I need to, I got to put my chapstick on. I got some in my pocket. I don't want my lips getting chapped. Got it. You want to have chapstick in your preparedness kit. You do. You don't want your lips to get chapped if you like chapstick, and it's 99 cents. has some chapstick because who wants chapped lips? That's right. Ah, Michelle, that's wonderful. You're welcome, Linda. Ah, Naruka. So you all, it's really important to prepare and like cold weather. Do your children got some warm clothes? If you can find them now. Even at the Goodwills is what I've noticed. If I'm out to a store, like I visited my mother yesterday, I swung by the Goodwill in the blanket sections, in the where they have towels and stuff like that. You can't find no good towels. There's you be lucky if you find one towel. And blankets, there's no real warm blankets. And the merchandise that people, you give, it's snatched up immediately. There's hardly anything good like there used to be because everybody's going to the Goodwill or the secondhand store to get at a cheaper price to prepare. Now, as for the warm clothing, I don't know. Well, I've seen lots of, warm shirts and stuff. They got few coats, but yeah, it's hard. It is. You want to make sure you got to have matches. You got to have some matches and a lighter. Um, if you need to start a fire, you better have some kind of a way to start a fire. If it came down to it, and you was in a place where you could like make a fire with some sticks and stuff to do it, because you want to stay warm. You want a tent if you got a tent or something. There's all kinds of videos out there. Hello there from Cameroon, Daniel Najut, Central Africa. Quilts that your grandmother made. Oh, Naruka. Let's see. It's cold in Texas, but not like where you are. Let me see the temperature where I'm at. So I guess it's around that degrees. It's almost freezing. The barometric pressure and humidity. We got gray skies. And just because it's gray skies outside you all doesn't mean that it has to be gray inside your heart. It doesn't. You can have that sunlight shining inside your heart, and that will create a lot of warmth, not just for you, but for a lot of other people. It will if you got the sunshine in your heart. It's like that song, Sun Shining in My Heart. It's an old country song. It popped into my mind. I think that was that. Why men don't wear chapstick and women do as well as lotion and baby lotion, I don't know. Don't know. It's okay. It's 42 in Phoenix, Arizona. It's blue skies in Ireland. That's wonderful. So will you be ready when a disaster strikes you all? Will you? And if you've made it this far in the video, you know I've jumped the subject, but if you hear me, if you got into the video and she's talking about something totally off the wall, no, it was part of preparedness. It's because it took a lot of preparing inside my heart, inside my being, and it does. Every day we prepare. You really do prepare to face each day. Even as you go through your day, you're making decisions on how you need to do something, what you need to do. That is preparedness. That's forethought of preparedness. That's what you're doing. You're preparing every moment of your life, what you're going to do, what you're going to say. So yeah, I think you are in a constant state of preparedness already. So you just need to expand that preparedness, that thought of mine. Good morning in Idaho. Wool blankets, yes, CH. Years ago, I was in a preparedness mindset, and I would go to the thrift stores years ago, and I would look for the army blankets. They had purple wool army blankets or the green ones, and they were thick. The thing with those wool blankets or wool socks, they give the military wool socks in their mobility bag, give you wool socks. Even when wet, the wool will keep you warm. Wool blanket and stuff like that. And you can't find that stuff anywhere. Yeah. Good morning. Whoa, my gosh. I'm gonna have to get in that house. It's making my nose red out here, you all. It is. Ah, it's a lot better. Thank you, Naruka. So I'm coming in the house where it's nice and it's warm. A fire in the stove. Let me show you. It's like oh, I don't see no beans in here today, you all. I don't. So you're in luck. There's no beans inside my wood stove. There's no beans in there, so it's okay. It really is. Oh, my little baby kitty, her loves to make a fire. She loves us to make a fire for her. She's all curled up in her chair. I did find this at the Goodwill when I went yesterday. I swung by there, and look, it's I paid $5.99 for it. Oopsie, and it's heavy. But I've been wanting to, since every day we lived here, since 2004, right up here on this beam, there is a wire box where they had something hanging. You can see like the hoe in it. They had something up there and somebody took it down, and I've never put one up here. And one of these switches right here on the wall, they go to it. It's probably this one. But I'm going to hang that lamp today. I'm going to wire it. I'm going to go down there and find the circuit breaker that goes to that. And I'm going to get my great big ladder out, and I'm going to climb up the ladder because it reaches up to the tallest beam. And I'm going to take a rope. And see, I prepared ahead of time. I prepared what I was going to do. So my first trial run was up there in my she shed hanging lights, wiring a light in the ceiling so when we walk in, we can turn on a switch. So I'm going to take a rope since that's so heavy, and there's no way I can lift it and hold it, and tie a rope around it. I might just do it here, put a big rope on it, and tie the rope all the way up there, you all. Tie the rope up there. And I'm going to pull it. I'm going to pull it till it gets close to the top. And then I'm going to secure the rope. That way I'll have it up there already. I'm going to pull it up there far enough to where I can wire the wires together. I don't want to, but I'm going to do it, you all. I am. That's my goal for today. It might take me a few hours, but I'm going to do it. And I might even take the glass things off since they add to the weight of it. And if it fell, I wouldn't want it to break and shatter glasses. So I probably will take those glass things off of it. And then I can stand on the ladder and screw them back on one by one. I don't mind going up and down the ladder. I don't. But I prepared, so $5.99 for that. And they are expensive, you all. But that right there, I have been thinking about it. TDA, thank you. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. My husband goes, Gina, you're not going to find nothing, but I did. I found it right there. Going to take some of my rope and just, if I had a pulley system, but I don't need no pulley up there to do that. Yeah. Yeah. No, you can't find no Army surplus stuff, you all. So my husband goes, Gina, why after all these years you want to hang a light? I said, I don't know. I just want to now. Because it does. It gets dark. There's lights in the other areas except that one area. And we don't sit on our furniture, you all. Believe it or not, I have a habit. When I do my laundry, it kind of sits there just for a couple weeks. If I have towels and I think, well, I'm guilty. I tell you all, you need to put that laundry away. I need to put it away. But I've got blankets, some blankets on my couch. And we don't sit on our furniture because we don't watch the TV. The only one sits on the furniture is the kitty cat. The only furniture we sit on is this chair and that chair because it faces the fire. I'm not a couch potato. That's okay, you all. Tell him to come hang with you. The nose, respiratory coat outside, you all. So, yeah. So, yes, Lisa Monroe, honey, What did he say? Because I spoke about that yesterday. I didn't get a chance to listen to what he had to say. Lisa Monroe, Zoom. Jana. That's right, T. That's exactly right, you all. Yeah. Um, so, what do you think about what has happened to the planet Earth? Seems to be in turmoil. Something is about to happen. Don't know what. What do you think? Well, my spirit and everyone else's spirit, majority of the people's, they know we need to prepare because we know the world is changing rapidly. And I think if you're watching this, I'm presuming and assuming, like that one individual said yesterday, you know you need to prepare for something that's coming, because it is coming, you all. You got to prepare. Is what it would be essential for you to do it, to prepare for what is coming, and you know it is. And what it is, we don't know. Someone explained, well, when they tell you to prepare for a zombie apocalypse, they figure that that event right there, you would have to prepare in so many ways, and that's a good thing to go by. How would you protect yourself against the zombies? What would you need and stuff like that? Right below Japan, yeah, that's what I heard about. Mother Sun is done with this dark energy and energetic energy beings. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's right. Boom. Um, um, yeah, you're welcome. We bought this house as a foreclosure uh, right before my husband got out of the military. Of course, we couldn't pay cash for it. It was $117,000 back in 2003 for this log cabin. And yeah, it's our first house that we ever, well, I can't say that we ever bought, because we did buy a home in Henderson, Nevada. 737 Greenway Road, Henderson, Nevada, and it was around 80 some odd $1,000, and it was a mess. It was stucco, but we fixed that place up and put plants all around it on the outside. It was beautiful. But we moved from there. We only stayed there 7 years and sold the house. No one is really ready for a disaster. Not completely. Some people are somewhat ready for a disaster. Zombies don't eat blondes. No. Yeah. Your body is plant medicine. Is my husband aware of the same things that I am? To an extent, he sees what's happened. Of course, he's been in the military. He retired from the military, and he sees what's happening in the world, and he knows with every fiber in his being that something is not right. It's not right. What's happening? Yeah. Oh my gosh, Sonia. Oh, that's awful. Yeah. 3 in the Ontario, Canada. Wow, you all. You be careful, Gina. You're a home flipper and your age, older. So it's nice to see a sister at work doing her thing. I am, you all. I like to do things. I got to stay in the mindset to be productive. It doesn't do me no good, and it doesn't do you no good to sit around and talk about what you want to do if you don't put forth any effort to make it materialize. It does not do you no good at all. It doesn't. If you've got something you want to do and you keep talking about it and you don't see no fruition, that's not good, you all. It's not. You gotta make it happen. If you can make it happen. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah. You don't want to be lazy, have a lazy streak in you. Yeah. That's right. Time for work and a time for rest. So, are you ready for a disaster? When a disaster strikes, will you be ready? Um, I think the majority of us are ready to some extent. That is safe to say. The majority of people are ready to an extent, to the best of their ability, some. They can't think of any other ways that they can prepare. At least they've done something. So if you've made some preparations, then you have done something to prepare. That's right. You don't want to know that the tornado is approaching your house or approaching your life and you see it coming and you do nothing. You don't take shelter or anything, or cold weather's coming and you know the power is going to be out and you do nothing, or the food's going to dry completely up and you don't got no extra food on hand, not because you couldn't afford it, but because you chose not to, because you didn't believe it until it actually got there. Then you find yourself empty-handed. Um, yeah, so that's all right, you all. Yeah. Yes, first and foremost, you got to be prepared on the inside. You really do, because that's going to see you through. So I am going to go, you all. I need to get ready on my day and get myself motivated to tackle that big lamp on the floor that I got for $5.99 at the Goodwill. I swung by after visiting my mother yesterday. So it's 9 o'clock. I can do it, you all. I'm going to make it happen. I got to go get my circuit tester. You know, those things you can touch the wires and see if you got electric current going through them. I'm going to use that also before I climb up there. Even after I find the breaker that goes to that, I'm going to test that wire. And I'm going to make sure I get the right wing nuts that I need for up there too, and some electrical wire. I go overboard with it, you all. I do way overboard when I do electricity. My mother's doing really well, thank you. Yeah, that's right. Yes, I'm gonna take these things off of it. That's what I'm gonna do. They're heavy, but this is what's making it so heavy, I think. So I will have to get a screwdriver or pliers and take it off of there because they're so heavy. I don't want to lift it up and do it like that. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm gonna try to walk backwards. Sometimes you got to go backwards in life. You take it's one step forward and two step backwards. Um, yeah, and that's okay. Yes, that's right. Um, lead glass. Who's got lead glass? Yeah. Um, thank you, Sonia, honey. Yeah, I'm going to be going, even though we got some people just now coming on here. Yes, we do. 3 hours ahead of you, Barbara Miller. Yes, that's right. Oh, I know it. Main office I am. I'm going to tie a rope to it. Even though I'm going to take those bulbs off, I'm going to tie a rope to it. I'm going to loop it around my beam up there. I'm going to pull it up and get it as close to the wiring up there as possible. Because it's like right. You see the box up there, the junction box? Yeah. That's what I'm going to do and hope that this right here switch is the one, because it don't go to nothing. It don't turn anything on. That's right. So, with that being said, you all please get prepared uh, for whatever you feel within your spirit that you need to. A little something is better than nothing. And that's right. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, you all. And thank you for tuning in. And it is really wonderful that we can come on here and connect with one another. It is because years ago that was not available, many years ago. And who would have known? Who would have known? That's great. Love you.